G'day guys, in one of my latest post-COVID trip ideas, I talked about going up to the Woods Point area and all the amazing places up there, one of my favourite places being Mount Terrible Hut. Sitting here in a cold winter's day in Melbourne, I can think of so many places I'd rather be, and it's hard to go past so many of the islands that surround Australia. If we start at the biggest state, you can't go past Tasmania. Here's a state that is absolutely busting to open up the state. It survives solely on tourism, the likes of you and I getting out there and seeing some fantastic four-wheel driving locations. Moving up into Queensland, where you've got not one but four fantastic islands to choose from, all the way up from Fraser down to Bribie, North Stradbroke and of course Moreton Island. Just off the coast of South Australia, it's hard to go past a visit to Kangaroo Island. This is an absolute mecca for those people who just love wildlife, nature conservation and pristine, beautiful beaches. But for me, one of the places I just long to get back to is Dirk Hartog Island, up on the very northwest coast of Western Australia. For many years, I longed for the idea of planning a trip out to Steep Point, mainland Australia's most westerly point. Not did I know at the time that just a barge trip away was a whole nother island, a whole nother part of Australia, even further west, that had some of the most amazing four-wheel drive places that you could visit. When you first arrive off the barge onto Dirk Hartog Island, we take in some beautiful sandy, scrappy tracks, and my recommendation is to make your way over to the Dirk Hartog Island Eco Lodge. Now, of course, this is run by the Wardle family. Kieran, Tori and their kids are pretty much the only population that are constantly living on the island, and they look after this place and have some fantastic facilities for you to rest your head, whether you want to take up one of their premium rooms in their motel, look after the 3-bedroom villa for a couple of days, or just pull up a camp and sit on one of their homestead campsites. With beautiful pristine waters, you might even spot a few little sharks swimming around in the shallows. For camping on the island, all you need to do is bring along your normal camping gear. Swags, even a camper trailer can fit on the barge. While you're there, however, you will need to bring in all your own food and be prepared to carry all your own rubbish home with you. Though you can of course talk to Kieran and Tori about maybe having a meal down there at the Eco Lodge in their beautiful outdoor area. Have a chat with Kieran and Tori at the lodge and just suss out some of the prime locations that you'll be visiting during your stay. They might even take you for a personalised tour up onto the west coast to watch the sunset over the 600-foot high cliffs. Dirk Hartog Island is around 80 kilometres point to point, so to do a whole trip around the island it's going to take you at least a full day. But my recommendation would be, if you're set up to do so, get out there and camp up north for at least a night. Along the east coast you're going to go up some really nice sandy tracks, you'll do a few runs up and down the beach, some beautiful coves, you might be able to flick a line in and see if you can't catch some fish. Along the way you're going to go past some beautiful salt lakes, and then as you arrive to the absolute northern tip you're going to get to one of the most famous locations of Turtle Bay. The contrast from east to west is considerable as we say goodbye to these pristine, beautiful long beaches and are welcomed by some of the most stunning cliff edges you'll ever see. Just around the corner, a Cape inscription is where you'll find the evidence of the very first time Europeans set foot on Australian soil. And that was of course by Captain Dirk Hartog, a Dutchman who accidentally came across this great land. While he was there, he inscribed on a pewter plate all the information about his landing back to the October of 1616. And for that reason, Dirk Hartog took the namesake of this beautiful island. While you're out and about exploring the Cape, have a look at the beautiful old lighthouse and all the old buildings that surround the area, which are still used today by researchers. One part of this island that I seriously recommend you spend some good time exploring is the sandbelt that goes through the middle. Out here you are going to find some epic dunes. Don't even worry about what you see out at Portland or going across the Simpson Desert. The dunes out here could only be topped by those that you see out in the likes of Bilbunya. We've got some massive dunes and some fantastic stretches of driving, heaps of beautifully scalloped places. Now you can get out there and drive in your car, but please take it easy. As we all know, sand driving can be exciting at the best of times, and out here there's a very good chance at some point you're going to get bogged. So it is important to maybe think about coming along with a friend. Make sure you've got some recovery boards, snatch straps, shackles, all the required gear. Driving in country like this, always choose the fuel. So either make sure you've got sufficient fuel through a long range tank and a few extra jerry cans, or be sure to call Kieran and Tori and organise some fuel to buy from them on the island. So there you have it, Dirk Hartog Island. It has some fantastic history around it, from Dirk Hartog and so many explorers to the current Wardle family, 3 generations who've now used the island for not just farming but tourism ventures. So stay tuned for more great ideas of road trips that we've got coming up, places for you to get out there and explore with the family.